They are. So, Jed, 75th.
Yeah, mine would definitely be true local representation. You know, we were sued by the governor as part of Parkview and went on the offensive this year. And that whole time, 24 months, we were on an island. Not a single elected official ever even gave us a call in a predominantly Republican area. So I want to bring back true representation locally to impact change.
Where was it, Gretchen? That was it, Yorkville, where they went in and the guy on the board said, we don't have to answer.
No, that was
anything?"
Plainfield.
Was that
That was
Plainfield?
the president of the school board in Plainfield, the public school, which we have a consolidated district. And the parents were, doing a lot of public comments, asking a lot of questions.
And they were upset,
And right,
Yeah. Of course.
and yeah, the president literally said, "We're not accountable to anyone."
Wow.
Can you imagine that?
Mr.
Yeah.
Tom Hernandez for you. I'm going to say his name.
No, that's not who it was. It's Kevin Kerberg.
It was Kevin Kerberg?
Yeah.
He said the board president. My apologies
Yeah.
on that.
Yeah,
Oh,
no,
still
not
the
the
same
not
guy.
the
Great.
superintendent. That's
Got
yeah. Hernandez is the superintendent. Actually, he's an okay guy.
Super. George, take a note. We're going to court now. So nice. Really nice. It's good to have friends, Tom. I just want to point that out.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. So, have you held another elected office? Have you been elected to anything?
I've been a village trustee in Newark
Okay.
for a few terms.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Tom, you ran last time,
I did. Ran for state senate.
and they actually singled you out last time, didn't they?
Oh, quite a bit.
Yeah.
It was good times. But I mean, we did the police rallies in Chicago and Plainfield when the riots were going on, and nobody really had the backbone to stand up for it. And we went out and we fought to let people know that cops were not necessarily bad people. They're out there to protect. And then I got targeted pretty heavily by BLM and Antifa, and God bless the Second Amendment, because they came after pretty hard. So.
Yeah, we were sitting in my driveway with ARs going like, if you want to bring it on,
Yeah.
we're here. We're waiting for you. You're listening on Target Radio, and this is AM560 The Answer. Give us a call, 312-642-5600. Our guests this evening are Jed Davis, who's running for state rep in the 75th District, and our old friend, my cigar buddy, Tom McCullagh, who's running in the 97th District. So I think it's fair to say that there might be foul play on the opponent's side when it comes to an election. That's reasonable, isn't it?
Yes.
I would think that's fair. What do you see you need to do to win the election, given that anything's possible?
I think people are hungry for change. Like, we've been in a state that has been in a rut for a long time, and that's really starting to hit home locally. So people want change. They want real representation. And man, if you can just carry that torch of freedom, especially on the parent standpoint, because they have been assaulted literally for a couple years now on parental freedoms. So man, just to stand up for that right is a message that is compelling and one that we all desire.
Absolutely. I would say what I've seen is, we knocked 4,000 doors over the last couple of weeks. And a lot of times we're going out there and they're like, oh, this is the first time anybody's ever came here. There's no energy out to it, and at least in the 97 perspectively. Not a lot of people have been out there, so the base just doesn't know what's happening. They understand that they don't have representation because people are sending mailers or doing this or doing that. There's no energy to get them out there and show them that we care. We want people to be represented as much as possible. That's one of my biggest things is lack of representation and why we're running.
I used to get that too when I was knocking on doors running for county board. People are so impressed that the actual candidate is actually knocking on their door that I had a number, not a lot, but I had a few people go, I'm going to vote for you just because you showed up. I mean, they may not even really be, in the general, they may not even really be a Republican, but they're like, just because you knocked on my door, I'm going to vote for you.
I'll say a lot of elected officials, once they get in, they forget about the people and they go to polls and I got to look at this and which way is the wind blowing. But at the end of the day, we live in a constitutional republic and our only obligation is to the people you represent. If you lose the people you represent, you deserve to lose every election thereafter because you're not doing the job you're being elected to do.
One of the things that in this day and age would concern me, and particularly, Tom, you really are visible. I mean, you're not just
big.
out there. You're really visible. I mean, you with the cops and with the military and all that. Do you ever just stop and ask yourself? I mean, there are people that I'm sure there are people that would just like to take a poke at you, if nothing else.
Yeah, and people always do. I mean, if you look at the Will County Clown Car, I'm going to give them a little bit of airtime. They were calling me some CRT psycho, and the newspapers, depending on which way you look at it, they go after you. But I mean, if you're not getting flack, you're not over the target. And I mean, I
Amen.
would take as many shots as I need to get as long as the work that we're trying to do gets done.
Have you gotten any pushback?
Oh yeah, for sure. We're not an invited guest to the table, right? We're a grassroots movement, so
Sure,
we were
sure.
not invited to be a participant in the big equation. And even back in the Parkview story, we had all kinds of crazy parents saying we're going to, be the bearer of bad news for kids as far as killing kids because we're not complying with,
Right.
the masking policies and all this other stuff. So we've had pushback from coast to coast and even locally.
Speaking of the mask, how is that looking in your respective districts? We were in Chicago a couple days ago, maybe a week, and you could not go. We went to Russian Tea Time restaurant, which I've always liked. We didn't get 2 steps in that door, and they stopped us and wanted
Dex
to
card.
see.
Show me your papers.
Yeah, exactly.
May I see your papers?
You will show me your papers. Yes.
That's
How is it
pretty
out,
much.
out your way?
We're really fortunate where we live. The leadership there from the elected leadership has kind of been very quiet about it, but hasn't been enforcing it. So while I am kind of the one that would love to see the vocal component behind it, I am very blessed to live in Yorkville and the surrounding communities because it's somewhat the land of the free out there, which is great.
I wish I could say the same. We had a state rep that was out putting just mask up in every business, that was pretty much promoting businesses being shut down. And now the person that may be in primary was silent during the whole thing and not standing up for small businesses and trying to force the mandates on the same thing, even on the school board where a lot of the same rules were put in place by that individual as well. So I'm hoping that we start catching a lot of the business owners locally are really like laissez-faire, like, hey, come on in, we want the money. And I think that's what it should have been the whole time. If you want to wear it, like I'm pro-choice on that. Like somebody wants to wear it, wear it. If they don't want to, don't want to. It's America. You want to wear a cowboy hat, wear one.
Well, and I think you're right. I don't think any of the people that we know object to somebody wearing a mask.
Not at all.
We object to the fact that they expect that we're going to do it.
Or at the Holocaust Museum in Chicago, they're demanding people show papers.
No, you're not
I mean,
serious.
they
There's
are
no
serious?
irony. There's no irony there
They
at all.
literally were demanding paperwork, like vaccine cards to go into the Holocaust Museum. Show me your papers. Like, imagine the trauma if somebody lived in that. My wife's grandma was a Dachau survivor. She had a tattoo on her arm. She was in a concentration camp, and if she would have heard that, I couldn't even imagine. She was a very vocal and boisterous woman. I couldn't even imagine what would have happened on
Did they
that.
have, was the person asking, did they have a German accent?
I would hope
Show
not.
me your
I
papers?
hope not.
Show me your
The irony
papers?
of that one.
And that's the thing. Pritzker has so far stepped over out of his boundary. It's unbelievable. The big question is, we've got some good candidates for governor. There are some good candidates for
Great
governor.
ones.
The question is whether or not it's even doable.
Well, I think that's where Jed was coming in with the ground support. People see that there's people that have been fighting even before the governor's announcements that are actually out there pushing, getting the grassroots out there. Jed's lawsuit's a great example. That the amount of fire that put into the state when you did that and you guys won. Like I said, I was a fan of Jed the second he's like, oh my God. And I'm like, hey, you got to call. I'm like, oh, no way. But they won and they really took that energy and they put it out to the people, letting them know, like, we can fight these guys. We're not happy with it. Do it. And that's leadership, is doing the thing that's not popular at the time.
Yeah, if you just have some courage and stand up locally, you can make impact statewide, right? To sit around and wait for Springfield, you're going to be waiting forever. So it's time to take the charge locally.
Yeah. When we come back, we got to take a quick break. When we come back, I want to get into some of the Second Amendment stuff, particularly the FOID card issue, because that's real big. We think it may be fixed, but we'll talk about it when we come back. So we'll talk about that and more when we return with On Target Radio. And you're listening to AM560
The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson.
Adam Kinzinger went on with John Berman.
What would you tell a person about Donald Trump?
I'm going to tell him he was the worst president the United States of America ever had. He was a liar. He was a charlatan.
Do you think, because, he's not running for re-election and Dick Durbin's seat's going to be up soon, do you think maybe he could change over to the Democratic Party and then run for his seat?
Adam Kinzinger's done.
Start your day with Chicago's Morning Answer. Weekday mornings starting at 5 on AM 560. The Answer.
Safer USA, Chicago's most trusted name in firearm training, is offering beginners classes, tactical pistol and rifle, long-range rifle to 600 yards, and the most comprehensive Illinois concealed carry program available. AM560 On Target radio co-hosts David Lombardo and Gretchen Fritz will prepare you to carry a firearm for personal protection, including firearm, holster, and ammunition selection. A comprehensive law review designed to keep you out of trouble and even how to deal with home invasions. Firearm, ammunition, holster, class notebook are provided. Safer USA and the Aurora Sportsman's Club invites you to participate in this one-of-a-kind Illinois concealed carry program that also qualifies you for Florida, Utah, and Arizona non-resident permits. Find out what over 6,000 students already know at saferusa.com.
Or call 815-741-3474. That's 815-741-3474. Safer USA. Choosing to own a firearm is your business. Teaching you to own it responsibly is ours.
Balance of Nature's fruits and vegetables in a capsule. Changing the world, one life at a time.
The product that you have given me here is sent to me from heaven. I love it a great deal. It's hard to find anything that's real nowadays. I enjoy it immensely. It's making my life so much better. I feel so much better.
It's really fantastic. I mean, just my overall health is fantastic. And I plan on continue taking this because I'm convinced that it absolutely contributes to your well-being, to your health, to keeping you healthy. Let your body do what it's supposed to do.
Get a wide variety of all your daily recommended servings of whole fruits and vegetables without having to leave your home. Right now, Balance of Nature is offering free shipping and 35% off on any new preferred order. Start your journey to better health today by calling 1-800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
Hi friends, this is Katie Pavlich from townhall.com. The liberal media and big tech are working overtime to promote the left's anti-American agenda and silence me and the reporters on our team at Town Hall. We have to bring the truth to the American people, free from the spin of big media and the censorship of those big tech companies. We're constantly covering the news that matters, exposing the COVID lies, the leftist rot and crime surge in our cities, the illegal alien crisis at our southern border, and all of Joe Biden's unconstitutional overreach, including the critical race theory attacks on our children and grandchildren by school boards and the Department of Justice. I hope you'll support our vital team of conservative journalists today. You can do so by going to townhallaction.com. While cancel culture and big tech comes for us, the direct support of our VIP members helps make us uncancelable. Please join our team by becoming a VIP member at townhallaction.com. That's townhallaction.com.
We now return to On Target Radio on AM560 The Answer. If you have a question or an opinion, share it with us at 312-642-5600. And now, debating, debunking, and discussing today's hot issues. Here are your hosts, David Lombardo and Gretchen Fritz.
And we're back with more On Target Radio. Our guest this evening, Jed Davis, who's running for as representative in the 75th District, and Tom McCullagh, who's running in the 97th. Both shooter, 2A, both pro Second Amendment guys?
Absolutely.
Yeah, amen.
You own a gun?
I
know you
You've
do.
seen my collection
I know
before.
you do because
Yeah.
I rescued it when you were out of town. So
Yeah.
that was kind of a moot question.
Yeah.
You own the firearms?
A couple, yeah.
Okay. Are you both members of the Illinois State Rifle Association?
Absolutely.
We are.
Okay.
I am.
All right. I guess that's okay. We can leave them on the show then.
I just kicked
They
us
passed
out.
the test.
Yeah.
We're
It's-
in.
It's good. It's good. So, FOID card. What are your thoughts on the FOID card?
I think to have a card for a constitutional right doesn't really make it a constitutional right. So to me, it's insane. It's got to go.
I want to end the Fed. End the FOID. Sorry, wrong show.
Actually, both would be good.
Yeah, both would be great.
Either-
But I
either
mean, yeah.
opinion's
So
fine.
when you put a license or you cost a fee onto a constitutional right, it becomes a privilege, and a privilege can be taken away.
Absolutely.
You know, and I think that if you have a FOID card or even a concealed carry, you've got 24/7 NCIS background checks getting done on you every night at midnight. So if you got a problem with the concealed carry, they can pull it real quick.
Well, for those of you who that slid right by your ears, a lot of people don't know what you
Yeah,
just said.
most people don't know that.
I love to ask that question in class. I will say to a class, if you have a FOID card, how many times have you had a background check? And everybody goes, well, when we got the card. And I go, really? 360 days a year. There's only 5 days that they don't. Every night, 360 days a year, they run a full background check on every FOID card holder.
It's not a perfect system, but it's there.
Yeah.
But I mean, we're the only state in the country that has a FOID card, firearm owner ID.
Actually,
within New York and a few others.
Massachusetts has one, but they don't call
different,
it FOID.
yeah.
It's not the same thing. But I mean, we're the only one that has it, and the system's been broken since its inception. I think the state wanted a little bit of money, and they were just going by,
siphoning money out of the fund. So we got a bulletin from Illinois State Police earlier this week that said as of February 1st, new FOID cards were now being issued within the 30-day period, and the renewals were also. So for those, we live with this regularly. It's when we go to our cars in the garage, we bring shotguns with us. But we said, or they said that they're up to date on all that. So for people who, the deal was, this is really kind of complex because the governor extended the expiration date on all FOID and concealed carry cards to 18 months from the day they declared the pandemic over in Illinois. Well, now they're catching up, but he hasn't declared the pandemic over. So
right, and they haven't changed that rule.
Yeah, we're not quite sure where that all falls at this point. But yeah, so if both of you get into the state legislature and there still is a FOID card, and we have a lawsuit pending in federal court, there may not be a FOID card by the time election occurs, but you never know. You're both against the FOID card, I take it?
I would sponsor or co-sponsor any bill that said that they would remove the FOID card.
Yeah.
Absolutely, without question.
Yeah, you're right. It's an imposition. It was a money thing. That's what it was about, and it was partly about wanting to register guns. That's really how it started. It was about registering guns, and the ISRA got that gun registration part out of it. But yeah, it has been that way for a long time. The whole thing, just for instance, on concealed carry. What are your thoughts on concealed carry?
I'm for constitutional carry.
So as long as you're a law-abiding citizen.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what the Constitution allowed for. How many states have that?
I don't know the number off the top. 20 something.
There's quite a few.
Yeah, I mean they seem to have no issue. I mean the problem.
I shall research.
See, there is no problem with the law-abiding citizen having a firearm. The statistics on crimes just isn't there. For anybody who has a concealed carry, the amount of crimes committed could be counted under 100 across the whole country throughout the year. It's the people that are obtaining firearms legally, illegally through straw man purchases and to go out and commit crimes. It's not the law-abiding citizen you have to worry about. It's the criminals who just don't care and flagrantly flip the bird to the law in the first place. So I think that anytime they try to put a law in place to control a law-abiding citizen already, it's just foolish.
Yeah, it was just today I wrote something to somebody. They were talking about, there's all these guns floating around. And I said, they misquoted the number. And I said, you're wrong. There aren't that many guns. There's more. There's about 400 million lawfully owned guns in this country. And there's only about 330 million people.
Which
is
really a guess at best.
Yeah, it is. It's an estimate. But and then I said, if they were the problem, you wouldn't need the press to tell you. It would be on your block. So yeah, that's something that people are really upset about in this state. It's going to be a campaign issue. FOID card for there are 2.3 million FOID card holders in the state of Illinois. That's a heck of a big voting block.
1 out of 6 people in the state.
Yeah.
12.2
we
million.
figured out if you take the legislative districts, there's 118 legislative districts, and you divide it out by the number of FOID cards, on average, now obviously it'll vary from district to district, but on average you're looking at 19,000 FOID card holders per district. And that's a voting block that no one's ever tapped into. And they're beginning to get pretty ticked off.
You know what's incredible? That the FOID data that was coming out for the number of applications during the riots, it wasn't Republicans buying guns.
Well, they
it was
already
all
had
the
them.
first time Democrats, liberals going out and buying guns, and then they go to the gun stores like, wait, I got to wait 3 days to get a gun? How does this work? I'm waiting 6 months for this. How? Well, then they all finally understood what we've been complaining about for 30 years.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, it was interesting because the fact that we were at one point 18 months to get a new FOID card, 18 months. Democrats could care less. They thought it was funny. Then about a year ago, when people would call us at ISRA, I get all the hate mail calls, and they would call and they say, it's taken 18 months or whatever it is. I'd go, call your state legislator. It was a Democrat. That's exactly who I want you to call. Call them. Well, they started getting their phones flooded with people who couldn't get FOID cards, and suddenly it became bipartisan.
Good.
Amazing.
Imagine that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
But it's a public safety.
I waited 15 months to get my CCL renewed.
It's crazy.
Yep.
And it's because they were taking money out of the fund, and they weren't hiring people. It was convoluted.
Does it
mess.
shock you in Illinois?
No.
Let me think about that. No, it
Not
doesn't.
in the least.
It doesn't.
So
But-
just FYI, there are 17 states that have constitutional carry, and
17?
then there's 6 more that allow permitless open carry only.
There you go.
So it depends on how you define it.
So to Tom's point, if there was an issue, we would know.
Right.
You'd know.
Everyone would know.
Yeah, it'd be on your block.
I remember watching something on that, like the crime statistics of somebody with a concealed carry or an open carry permit or any of the permits for any of the firearms. It was like less than 1 in 100,000 committed a crime over the lifetime of the person having that.
Right.
It's like the statistic is so low, it's like you can't even consider it a statistic.
It's Florida.
Yeah. So concealed carry, people who have concealed carry, their rate of committing crimes with guns is lower than the rate of police officers committing crimes with guns.
Wow.
Yeah, it's point. Florida is sort of like the 500-pound gorilla. They have, I think, 2.7 million that they've given out.
Yeah, they were the first ones.
And it goes back to 80 something.
Mhm.
And the statistics are, if you have a Florida concealed carry permit, the statistics about you committing a crime with a firearm are 0.0001%, which is better than law enforcement, and by far better than the general population. Yeah. So I think concealed carry holders live up to it because they know if they screw up, they lose it forever.
Right. We understand the ramifications.
Yeah. It's interesting. I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see what happens. The gubernatorial candidates that I know, Darren and Gary, both of them are not in favor. They'd get rid of it if they were governor. So I haven't talked to the others, but we're going to have them on eventually.
I think it's interesting that
We're working on it.
we're overlooking the attorney general like Dave Shostokis, running for attorney
Yep.
general. A lot of those lawsuits, when you try to end, deal with the FOID card or some of the issues with the concealed carry, Dave's like, all right, let's pick it up. Let's do it. Having somebody strong in the attorney general can bypass a ton of the legislation, kick it to the Supreme Court immediately, and then that's it. State picks it up and it's done.
Actually,
I had to give a good plug to Dave.
We had Shostokis on last week,
Ah.
so actually we plug for our YouTube channel. If you want to see it, you can go back to the archive and watch last week's YouTube.
It's
Just saying.
Yeah, Dave pointed out something interesting, and we're going to have to take a break here. But the Attorney General of the state of Illinois has historically been a lynch man for the governor, and that's not right because he's an elected official. He does not work for the governor; he works for the public. Anyway, we're going to have to take a break. When we return with On Target Radio, we're going to talk a little bit more about Second Amendment. All that and more, and you're listening to AM560.
The Answer.
You have to admit, you were warned. After 1 year of Joe Biden as president, we've all seen all the predictions come true. Crime is out of control in Democrat-run cities. Inflation is crushing the middle class. America's image around the world is in shambles after multiple failures. The Democrat Party's surge to the hard left is destroying the America we knew and loved. Like they always say, elections have consequences. Hey, if you want to do something about it, stick with us. We are The Answer. SalemNewsChannel.com. AM560 The Answer.
Fox News. Until NATO. Fox confirms U.S. intel indicates Russian commanders have orders to invade Ukraine. Meanwhile, the White House said President Biden's agreed in principle to a meeting with Russia's Vladimir Putin as long as Putin holds off on launching an assault.
President Biden met with his National Security Council Sunday to discuss the situation. He also conducted a call with French President Emmanuel Macron. The The White House released no details of either meeting. Gernal Scott, Fox News.
95-year-old Queen Elizabeth has been confirmed to have COVID. Soon after the announcement from Buckingham Palace, an outpouring of well wishes.
She has to get better. We can't afford to lose her just yet. We want her to recover very quickly.
The palace said the Queen is experiencing mild symptoms and expects to continue working. America's listening to Fox News.
Do you like your gun range bag? There's a really cool local company here in Chicagoland that makes the finest range bags anywhere. And these quality range bags are so inexpensive that I bet you won't hesitate to buy one. The Hackett range bags from Hackett Equipment have it all. There are compartmentalized pouches that hold 2 or 4 pistols, ammo, mags, and even targets. Basically everything you need for a day at the range in a stealth design that doesn't resemble a range bag. Nobody will know you're carrying firearms. Additionally, they're super heavy duty and will last a lifetime because Hackett bags are 30% heavier than typical range bags. And the price is unreal. The large pack is under $100 and the small one under $80. But if you visit gunrangebags.com and use the promo code AM560, you'll save an additional 10%. Hackett Equipment bags really are range bags that can hack it. That's gunrangebags.com, promo code AM560. Gunrangebags.com. Do it now.
Hi, it's Sean Thompson. As you know, our friend Mike Lindell has a passion to help you get the best night's sleep of your life. He didn't stop by simply creating the best pillow. Now Mike's changing the game with his 6-piece towel set. This set is made with USA cotton, making it extremely absorbent, yet still providing that soft feel you look for in a towel. I can't tell you how much I love mine. This set comes with 2 bath towels, 2 hand towels, 2 washcloths, typically retailing for about $110. But for a limited time now on this show, you can get this set for an incredible price of $39.99 with promo code LIBERTY. You heard me right, $39.99, but that's only for a limited time when you use my promo code LIBERTY. And remember, all My Pillow products come with a 60-day money-back guarantee. Call 1-800-489-0201, use my promo code LIBERTY, or go to mypillow.com and make sure to use my promo code LIBERTY. 1-800-489-0201, promo code LIBERTY.
With PatriotSoftware.com, accounting and payroll, keep your time and money.
Mike Capel here, serial entrepreneur. I started my first business in the basement of a factory over 30 years ago. We had no heat and no air conditioning. Instead of customers, our office visitors were rats, birds, flies, and snakes. Our office flooded often, and we used blankets as our office walls. We were broke and needed help. That's why I created Patriot Software, to help small business owners with simple payroll for 1 to 100 employees. And if you need help, we will help you for free. Go to PatriotSoftware.com. Use promo code RADIO and get 2 months of payroll processing free. That's PatriotSoftware.com.
With PatriotSoftware.com, accounting and payroll, keep your time and money.
Dr. Gorka here, and you know me. I am very cynical about products, especially those that claim to help people suffering from pain. So when I tell you that Relief Factor truly works, I want you to know that I mean it. I suffered from a stiff lower back for almost a decade, one so painful it made it difficult to kneel in church on Sundays. When I finally decided to give Relief Factor a try, I didn't ever imagine that I would find myself free of the pain, but that's what happened. Now I take Relief Factor every day. Almost 70% of the more than 500,000 people who have tried Relief Factor end up ordering more. That's because it works for them the way it worked for me. Isn't it time for you to get out of pain? Your first step to becoming pain-free should be to order the 3-week quick start for the discounted price of only $19.95. Go to relieffactor.com or call 800-4RELIEF to find out more about this offer. Feel the difference.
You're listening to On Target Radio on AM560 The Answer with David Lombardo and Gretchen Fritz. Here's David and Gretchen with more interesting conversation on gun control, concealed carry, freedom of speech, and other red meat issues that affect your life. To participate, call the studio at 312-642-5600.
So I think it's worth giving a couple of minutes anyway to red flag laws. This is something that really bothers people And it kind of gets to the core of the concern that most conservatives have, and that is the government knows too much to begin with. And the government has too much leeway in what they can and can't do. What are your thoughts, both of you, on the red flag law?
Oh, they drive me insane. And my opponent seems to have a love affair with them. So I am not a fan of the red flag law, especially the words. As we've been entangled in lawsuits at Parkview, I've learned the word ex parte, which just means they can come in and take it,
whatever they want.
without any representation, right? So this is America, and you're going to come remove a right without any kind of representation on my behalf. Like, it is just
Or due
absolute
process.
insanity. Yeah, it is absolute insanity.
It's all about due process. And you got somebody who could be like an appointee or a friend, with like one of those crazy purple-haired liberals that's going in there like, everybody should not have a gun.
Yeah,
And then it's up
exactly.
to somebody. Well, I don't like Jed. I'm going to call and be like, hey, Jed just said he's going to do something crazy. And then next thing you know, whoever it is doesn't even do the investigation. They just say no, and arbitrarily taking away people's rights with no due process it's no longer a right.
So what do you say to people, though? Because every time that argument comes up, this is what you get back. Oh, so you think it's okay for somebody that's obviously a whack job, you know he's going to be a problem, it's okay for them to just be able to have a gun then?
I think there should be safeguards in place. And right now you could call on somebody without red flag laws and say that they're a public safety concern, and then they can get a mental evaluation, and then police can go by and talk to them. I mean, that's what we've been doing for 30 years, and it's worked pretty good.
See, I've always thought that, and I don't know how workable this really would be, but I've always thought that the way to do it is register a complaint against you. I actually have 5 or 6 times, but besides that, I register a complaint against you. You immediately, they go to you and they go, hey, Bob's registered a complaint. We're going to, and there's like a night court sort of thing, a place where you go where you got a judge and he hears both sides of the story. That way you're getting represented before anything actually happens. And that seems, I don't know of any other way you can do it that's even remotely fair.
Yeah, no, I mean, we're not saying like don't stop that from occurring. Like, that just is common sense. It's just the whole no representation, or even I've seen bills even passed again or proposed from out of my district of, if you're 18 and you don't have a legal guardian or parent, you need to get notarized, like 2 witnesses that will vouch for you before you can even apply for a FOID card. So all that stuff is just like, makes no sense.
Yeah, and it's, you look at the shootings that there have been at the schools and stuff, and almost without exception, I think there's 1 or 2 that are, but almost without exception, they would go, well, oh yeah, it was Bob Jones. The cops know who he is. They've been out at his. There was that one, I can't remember where the family was, but the family was going to sue the newspaper because the newspaper said the police had been out there 32 times or whatever, and they said, that's a lie. That's not true. It was 24. I'm like, okay, okay, it was 24. I'll buy that. That's the mentality that you have. Look at that husband and wife that bought their kid an AR-15. I don't have a problem with that. Okay, they bought the kid the AR-15, and he was talking about shooting up school. You remember that one? He was looking online in class on a computer in class, looking up where he could buy the cheapest ammo.
Wow.
And they called the parents in. They go, your son is looking up online where to buy cheap ammo, and he's been threatening, and they refused to do anything about it. Remember that one? That was just maybe a month ago.
No, I don't. But I'm saying in a society of 300+ million Americans, there's going to be people in this country who obviously should not have access to firearms or anything that it could be considered dangerous. But we should be afforded due process by all means necessary, but expeditious due process.
And I think that's the key.
And that's the thing. But you just can't arbitrarily walk into a room, point a finger at somebody, be like, I don't like your haircut. Let's take the guns away.
Yeah.
Because I think that there's a lot of people that out of spite, a lot of people going through divorce cases, that the ex-wife will file a restraining order on the husband because she knows he's got a wonderful gun collection, and now all those guns disappear.
Yep.
So there's a lot of things. There's complete misuse of the actual things that are in place now. Just imagine how it will get worse when you've got things by state rep over there that wants to have 2 notaries and this, and that, and all these things in place.
Yeah, extra steps, extra loopholes, right? The government is big on All kinds of stuff to make you jump through.
Well, what's scary is you just get a letter, right?
Right.
You just get a letter in the mail, and it says you have, what, I think 48 hours to turn in your FOID card.
Yeah, that's the same letter I got when my FOID card expired.
Yeah.
I didn't know that the FOID card didn't have the same date, and they were like, "Hey, you got to turn them in." I went to the police station. I had to deal with paperwork, renewed everything, obviously, but that's literally the letter you have in the mail is you've got 48 hours to surrender. And I'm like, holy cow, it's just with no phone call, no warning, and the concealed carry I thought had the same expiration. I made a mistake.
Like a registered letter or just a letter?
It was a letter in the mail.
It's not even registered.
It was just like if I didn't open it, like
yeah, I mean,
Illinois State Police. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Maybe they want a donation again.
All right, we're going to have to take another break. When we come back, I guess we may shift back to some political talk again. We'll do some heavy political talk. All that and more when we return with On Target Radio, and you're listening to AM560, The Answer. Hard drives fail. Viruses destroy data. Having a copy of your work, photographs, financial records, and other important files is one step in a thorough backup plan. Geekometrics offers a secure online solution by placing a copy of your data off-site where it's safe from theft, fire, and unauthorized access. Losing photos and financial information is devastating. Geekometrics' secure online backup solution is a reliable way to back up important files. The most common reasons for not backing up are uncertainty about what needs to be backed up and how to do it reliably. Geekometrics provides a full-service managed solution with no storage limit. Geekometrics does all of the setup, configuring, testing, and monitoring. Your data is even safe when you travel with your Mac or PC laptop. Call 630-759-9283 to talk to a specialist who can help you keep your data safe. 630-759-9283. Geekometrics, helping you keep your data safe.
Balance of Nature's fruits and vegetables in a capsule, changing the world one life at a time.
I love Balance of Nature. It's just wonderful. I loved it so much, that's why I get 2 sets of the fruits and veggies. I make my sister take it too. When you hit a certain age, you got to do all you can for yourself. And this is something good I do for myself and for my sister. We're doing much better in energy, alertness, clarity, and that's because of Balance of Nature. It's a wonderful product. I would never be without it. It's made that much of a difference. And anybody who will listen to me, I tell them, you got to order this. Just try it, and if you try it, you won't give it up.
Get a wide variety of all your daily recommended servings of whole fruits and vegetables without having to leave your home. Right now, Balance of Nature is offering free shipping and 35% off on any new preferred order. Call 1-800-2468-751 or go to balanceofnature.com and use discount code Chicago.
Safer USA, Chicago's most trusted name in firearm training, is offering beginners classes, tactical pistol and rifle, long-range rifle to 600 yards, and the most comprehensive Illinois concealed carry program available. AM560 On Target Radio co-hosts David Lombardo and Gretchen Fritz will prepare you to carry a firearm for personal protection, including firearm, holster, and ammunition selection. A comprehensive law review designed to keep you out of trouble and even how to deal with home invasions. Firearm, ammunition, holster, class notebook are provided. Safer USA and the Aurora Sportsman's Club invites you to participate in this one-of-a-kind Illinois concealed carry program that also qualifies you for Florida, Utah, and Arizona non-resident permits. Find out what over 6,000 students already know at saferusa.com.
Or call 815-741-3474. That's 815-741-3474. Safer USA. Choosing to own a firearm is your business. Teaching you to own it responsibly is ours.
We now return to On Target Radio on AM560 The Answer. If you have a question or an opinion, share it with us at 312-642-5600. And now, debating, debunking, and discussing today's hot issues. Here are your hosts, David Lombardo and Gretchen Fritz.
And we're back with more On Target Radio. Our guest this evening, Jed Davis, who's running in the 75th District for the House in Illinois, and old friend Tom McCullagh, who's running in the 97th. Jed, you have a lawsuit going that's really, it's a big deal. How's that going?
It's going great. So we wanted to allow parental choice in the halls of Parkview. We're pre-K through 12th grade, and we just wanted it to be the parents' choice, whether or not they face covered their child, which is how it should always have been from the beginning. The state didn't agree with us. But so they stripped, right? They're threatening all this crazy stuff. They stripped our recognition. They kicked us out of all the state athletics and really started to penalize us. But when you look at the actual law, they can't do any of that. They're just being a bully from their office of Illinois State Board of Education. So we filed suit in Kendall County calling them out, saying you're not allowed to penalize us for allowing parental freedom in the halls of Parkview. And we won a temporary restraining order. So a judge reinstated us instantly right back into the good graces, if there is such a thing, as the state of Illinois. And the beauty is, because of that, I think this is a great message I love to preach about preaching local change, pushing it statewide. The state I always like to say in the middle of the night, but quietly a few days later, flipped back all the other private schools that they had also penalized because we caught them. We caught them and they knew they were in the wrong. So all those schools won because one school had the courage to stand up.
You know, it was Eric that said, Eric Allen, that said early on in the COVID thing, remember it was, we naively were a couple of months into it going, when's this going to be over? Having no idea how long it was going to go. And I said something, how long is this going to go over? And Eric said, you remember?
We're going to be wearing masks until we stop wearing masks.
Exactly. And that's basically what's happening. This whole thing that up in Canada, I turned on I was on the internet, but I opened it up, and there it is. The Canadians, they're blocking every bridge in the United States, which people may not quite get the significance of that. Canada imports a lot of food. So when you block every bridge going into Canada, they have nothing against the U.S. That's not what it was about.
Yep.
It was about cutting Canada off from basic necessary supplies every day, and that got Trudeau's attention. Then the teachers turned out, and they started picketing with the trucks, and all of a sudden you got this fiasco. And so Trudeau, being a perfect politician with his ear to the ground at all times, did the intelligent thing and declared martial law.
Oh, God.
and froze all their accounts. Now, if ever there's been a guy who has said, please don't elect me, I really don't want to be prime minister, how stupid can you be when you have that kind of an overwhelming thing happen and you can try and crush it?
Well, I mean, what's happening there is really another year down the road from us. The politicians here and the elected science people, they said that our businesses weren't essential. They said God wasn't essential. They closed our churches. They closed our businesses. I mean, my business was super essential to me and my family.
Yeah.
And it got closed down. Guess what? It wasn't essential enough for Pritzker and all those guys. And the same thing with the Canadians.
But you could go gamble. You could go and
you can go
gambling
gamble and you could do all these other things, but that was essential. But, everybody else that was, working in the supermarkets and the gas stations and everything else, they weren't high enough class of citizens to be able to sit at home and work remotely. Oh, it's okay. Let them go out and suffer the pandemic, but we'll keep everyone else closed because they're essential workers, keep them home. And just people got tired of that. And I think the politicians finally understood, like, holy cow, we got a presidential election coming up. Now we got midterms. So Governor Pritzker is going to roll back his mandates on the 28th. And people are getting really wise to the fact that it's political moves more than it's anything else.
He even twisted Lori Lightfoot's arm because she initially said, "Oh, just because the state says that we don't have to wear masks anymore, it doesn't mean that the city of Chicago is going to follow suit." And then like about a day and a half later, she's like, "Okay, well, we probably will."
These people just they don't get it. And I've said this many times. The weave on a mask, I haven't gone and actually looked it up, but I would bet the weave on a mask is probably a power of 20 or something larger than a virus.
Oh, more than that.
And basically trying to stop a virus with a mask is like trying to stop a BB with a tennis racket. I mean, it doesn't make sense. And that clown doctor himself in the beginning said, don't wear masks. Don't wear them. It's no good.
But again, if you want to, then wear one. If it makes you feel safer. If you I'm for informed consent with vaccine. If you talk to your doctor and it's a good healthcare decision between you and your doctor, then take the shot. If you don't want to, it's informed consent on everything.
The problem is liberals, it's not good enough that they do it. You have to do it too. You have to agree with them. But the irony is they got pictures of, I don't even remember her name anymore. It's been so long since we've heard from her. She's part of the, what's her name?
You're talking about AOC?
Yeah, AOC. They got pictures of her on vacation not wearing a mask. They got pictures of Pelosi in her beauty salon not with a mask on. But ironically, they have a picture of Biden and his wife walking alone on a deserted beach, and they're wearing masks. go, just try and figure that one out.
Yeah, makes no sense. And even what is really frustrating to me is even on the right side of the aisle are people who have supposedly kind of found freedom now that it's a popular thing to do.
Yeah.
Right.
And I'm always trying to remind people, hey, look, we sent a letter to the state in the summer of 2020 when we were only one of 2 schools who stood up and said, no, this is nuts. We're not doing it. But now all of a sudden it is like, hey, I want to be part of that club, so I'm going to fly the freedom flag. I would say false.
You know what? When you dig a road with a shovel and you make it look good, then some guy's going to come along with a plow and he's going to make it seem like he did all the work. There's always somebody that's going to capitalize on your work.
I will say it's funny, after the Virginia exit polls, how many politicians in Illinois decided to retire and how many people across the country is like, you know what, we've been against this for years. We're going to lose everything now.
Yeah.
They all retired.
All right, we're going to have to take a break. When we come back, we'll talk a little more politics, and then it'll be all over. So all that more when we return with On Target Radio. And you're listening to AM560, The Answer.
Hi, friends. This is Katie Pavlich from townhall.com. The liberal media and big tech are working overtime to promote the left's anti-American agenda and silence me and the reporters on our team at Town Hall. We have to bring the truth to the American people, free from the spin of big media and the censorship of those big tech companies. We're constantly covering the news that matters, exposing the COVID lies, the leftist rot and crime surge in our cities, the illegal alien crisis at our southern border, and all of Joe Biden's unconstitutional overreach, including the critical race theory attacks on our children and grandchildren by school boards and the Department of Justice. I hope you'll support our vital team of conservative journalists today. You can do so by going to townhallaction.com. While cancel culture and big tech comes for us, the direct support of our VIP members helps make us uncancelable. Please join our team by becoming a VIP member at townhallaction.com. That's townhallaction.com.
You own or run a business. You've heard that PrintSmart Printing is the printer for your business. As you're putting together your print jobs for 2022, contact PrintSmart and become a PrintSmart VIP. All it takes is a phone call. Just your name and your business. No obligation, no forms, just your name and your business. As a PrintSmart VIP, you'll get 10% off all your printing needs in 2022, plus expedited service. It's time to make a true business printer your partner in 2022. It's time to switch to PrintSmart.
Hi, I'm Mike Burke, and I'm just like you. I'm passionate about what I do. I take pride in doing a great job and surround myself with people that are the same. We do it the right way. PrintSmart can handle any print job, big or small. And each one matters, and each one gets our best work.
Call and become a PrintSmart VIP. 10% off all your orders in 2022 and expedited service. Do business with a true business printer that shares your values. PrintSmart, 630-434-2000. PrintSmartPrinting.com. PrintSmartPrinting.com.
You're listening to On Target Radio on AM560 The Answer with David Lombardo and Gretchen Fritz. Here's David and Gretchen with more interesting conversation on gun control, concealed carry, freedom of speech, and other red meat issues that affect your life.
And we're back with more On Target Radio. So I would like to hear you guys' opinions of what do you think can be done about the state pension problem that we're in. I'm sick of hearing the word crisis, but how can we solve this problem?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think everyone can agree there's an issue, right? I hear JB out there saying we're a 1.7 billion dollar surplus. No one's mentioned all the money that we've gotten from the feds is about 4 times that. So that means we're really in the hole. You know how much? A lot. So it is a non-sustainable issue in the state of Illinois. But I also grew up, in a union home. Both my parents are union teacher, union IBEW, and they rely on that income that they come in every month. So you kind of have to draw a line in the sand at somewhere and say, hey, we are honoring the debts that the state has and slowly start to dig out of this hole and provide another avenue for the future of our workforce here in Illinois.
Yeah, you can't say to people who negotiated a contract that we're not going to give it to you. That's just, I don't care how much they're making.
Well,
you can't do that.
The Supreme Court already said that.
Yeah, but if they want to hang anybody out to dry, it should be the people that agreed to put those contracts out. Yeah. That should have never happened.
Yeah, I think it should be more contributor funded, especially in the public sector unions. Maybe Tier 4 pensioner, Tier 5 pensioner status coming in, move to an IMRF, something else that's more of a a pensioner-funded versus pensionee-funded versus a pensioner-funded system.
Right, it
That way we
needs-
wouldn't be on the backs for a long
It
time.
needs to be guaranteed contribution, not guaranteed benefit.
Yeah, but I mean, we still owe the debt to people.
Oh, yeah.
You don't want to work 20, 30 years and find out, oh, it's gone. But they're also rating a lot of that money, too. So, I mean, we might even run out of money in the next 10 years for the people who are Tier 1 pensioners, which is a problem. That's
You
because
bet
of
it is.
bad. And look at Democrat leadership for 20 years. These are the guys who've overspent the money, and they're not fulfilling their promises. I almost said a lot of bad words in a row. Who didn't fulfill the promises to all the people they made promises to get them elected for that time. Look at those people who did you rotten. I almost said more bad words.
Yeah, amen.
George is quick. Yeah, I mean, you can't beat George.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, he's
I'm
quick.
too fat.
You would hit that button 50 times in about 10 seconds. I don't like unfulfilled promises.
But you're absolutely right. I mean, it's unfair. If somebody offered me a job for some exorbitant amount of money and perks and stuff, what do you think? I'm going to say no? Only a fool would do that.
Yeah.
But the issue was who thought that was a good idea. They should have just said, look, this is what the job is what it pays. You want it or not? There's plenty of people who are looking for work. That's the people. And who are those people? Well, they're the ones that they think are going to be able to get off on it. Yeah.
So if people want to get a hold of you, if they want to volunteer, if they want to donate, how do they get a hold of you, Jed?
Yeah, for Jed, it's Jed for Freedom. It's the FOR, so jedforfreedom.com.
And then for me, it's McCullagh, MCCULLAGH, the number 4, state rep on either Facebook or McCullagh4rep.com.
There you go.
That's what it is.
And they need more than money. They need money, don't get me wrong. But one of the things is the very act of running for an office is enormously time consuming.
Yes.
Stuffing envelopes and all the stuff you got to do.
We need manpower and woman power.
Carry water for the elephant.
Right. We need helping hands. I mean, we need people to help us knock on doors, send letters.
I will say one thing, that when you're running for office, the less you are engaged with volunteers in the public, the more your campaign's going to cost. And that's because a lot of those politicians want to do mailers, TV time, whatever. They love seeing their face on TV, but they forgot about the people. You go knock doors, you get volunteers, you engage your base, you're going to spend way less money.
And here's the other thing. We have had people come into the Republican Central Committee meeting who no one has ever seen or heard of and go, I'm running for president, back me. No.
Well, they might be the best person in the world, too.
But
I
we
mean,
don't
who
know.
knows, you know?
We don't know. You got to get involved in the system if you want to run for an office.
Right.
Help people. People get to know you, and they get to support you. And that's the way you got to go about doing it.
That's the way it
All right,
works.
we're gonna have to all go home now. So we're gonna take off. And we enjoyed the show.
Thanks
you
for
very
listening
much for
to
coming.
On Target Radio.
Hard drives fail. Viruses destroy data. Having a copy of your work, photographs, financial records, and other important files is one step in a thorough backup plan. Chicometrics offers a